Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we are here to have a look at this Sea Ray 240 Sundancer. So a bit of Americana for you, very popular boat. The Ford Focus, I would imagine, probably of the American boat market. I've mentioned it before, but a lot of these boats of this size, I had a Chaparral 240 Signature. They follow a very standard format. This one's quite nice because it has been hull wrapped, as you can see, in this quite nice grey. There's a little grey theme that runs across the boat because you can also see the new cover that the current owner has had fitted, and that follows through to the upholstery on the outside. No real side decks to speak of, although there sort of is, but you've got a nice little midships cleat there. We move to the stern of the boat. You can see the wrap follows it right the way around, and then down here we have the trim tabs with new anodes. It's a V8 Mercruiser petrol engine, which we'll have a look at in a moment, and that's mated, as you can see, to this Bravo outdrive, which has recently been serviced. I would suggest looking at the anodes that have been renewed on there as well. So there you go, you can see the new cover there. There is a fuel filler here and a little deck shower over here, so you can wash yourself off. We're up on the hard. Obviously, if I was filming this and the boat was afloat, we'd be in the water, and you can see how these ladders work to enable you to get up on board the boat. So let's have a quick tour of Solo. So once we're on board, as you can see, there is a little sort of small but very usable bathing platform. Down here we have a tow eye, so if you want to do a bit of water skiing, water sports, towables, you can do. You then enter the boat via this little step over. There is, as you can see here, a little door to keep everybody on board. Quick step inside, and you can then see that new upholstery. And also you can see, bearing in mind this is a 24-foot boat, there's a lot of usable cockpit space. Let me just step in here and turn around a minute. So nice bench runs across the back. Obviously engine access down there. There's your shore power cupboard over there, a bit of storage in there. Engine bay under here. Cup holders. This seat here, so sort of aft facing navigator seat if you like. Helm seat, and then on the port side a sofa. I think it's called a chaise longue, but I can never pronounce it properly. But what you do get is, with this canopy, is full-size headroom. Again, I'm not the tallest person, but there's good headroom, and it looks very clean and very new, this canopy. And like a lot of these canopies, it's broken down into sections, so you can take the whole aft section out if you want, take the sides out the front. This is really neat actually. You've got 3 sections, 1, 2 and 3. So if you're a bit like on my own boat, if the weather's a bit grotty and you want better visibility from looking through the plastic, you can zip out just this one section here, stand at the helm, and then have pretty good visibility forward. Or you can take the whole thing out, leave the top in and have it as a bimini, or take the whole thing down and have full sunshine pretty much everywhere. Now there's a little cabin forward, we'll have a look at that in a moment. If you want to go forward, you would obviously need to zip out this section here, because this window section, as you can see, unclips here. That folds out over the far side and you can take a walk forward. I'm not going to do it today because we're up on the top and the boatyard don't like it. But you can see there is the fore hatch, which we'll see when we go forward into the cabin, and there's obviously an anchor locker and an anchor winch forward as well. Moving to starboard side, you have the helm position. Underneath this seat here, there is a vast locker which pretty much fills up the whole of that seat section, and in there is a manual bilge pump. So obviously it has electric and automatic bilge pumps, but there's a manual one in there. Because it's a Mercruiser, it's going to come with the Quicksilver gear select and throttle lever. This is your kill cord, so the idea is whoever's driving puts that around their leg, so if they did fall over, it pulls this peg out here and stops the engine. There's a little mini depth sounder over here, a couple of carling switches. There's a unit here, so this boat comes with, I believe it's a Garmin GPS navigator, and then you have the usual array of carling switches over here and analog engine gauges. So if we go starboard to port, quite logically that one's battery voltage, oil pressure I would imagine, no, sorry, oil temperature. Then you have speed, rev counter, oil pressure, fuel, and trim leg up and down. The other thing you'll notice is two things. One, there's a little step down in here, so that gives you a bit more space as you go into the cabin and gives you what is surprisingly good headroom actually down below. And this little window here, as you're probably familiar with, gives you ventilation. And again, this whole seat mechanism or design here is designed to give you not standing headroom obviously, but to give you better headroom down in the cockpit, down in the aft cabin. So moving forward, this door slides forwards. As you can see, there's the step to move forward. So if we slide that across, that gives you access to the saloon. And what's also quite neat is there's two steps down, but you get a reset or recessed floor down in here. So you can see that bit of floor there has a step up, which does mean if you stand down here, you do get half decent headroom. So as with all these boats, you'll notice that there's a V-berth up the front here. This, for the sake of it, is the clip-in carpets. So you put those carpets, clip them in the back of the boat, stop the sort of GRP gel coat being a bit slippery. I suspect, yeah, there you go, storage under there, and in there you can see the infill cushions. What's also quite neat is this little table under here, which I believe stores under here. Yeah, there you go, so there's the table. That pulls out, there's a foot in there, that drops in, those infill cushions fill it in, and you then have your forward double berth. Again, you can see all the cushions here have been redone in a sort of light bronze. A couple of speakers at the front, mirror. There's that fore hatch, escape hatch we looked at from outside. And then on the port side, get the sun out of the way, you've got a galley. So pretty standard, bearing in mind this is a 24-foot boat. So you've got a sink, you have an electric alcohol stove, switch panel over there, good old car radio, and a battery voltmeter so you can keep an eye on your battery voltage. There's the Garmin GPS navigator, bit of extra storage here, shelves up there, but quite nice that you've got 1, 2, 3 windows here, the mirror and the fore hatch for light. I'll take a step back up here. You can then see that we have the heads over this side, the starboard side. If we open that up, very, very standard as you would expect. Jabsco pump action loo with a little window. And just in case you're wondering, that thing up there is the windscreen wiper motor. I had a real thing with these boats at the time, I don't know why, but they wanted to put carpet on the headlining, which is very, very odd. But there you go, just a quick and easy way to fill the boat out, I guess. Hide. Otherwise, obviously, all of this is going to be white GRP. So behind us, bearing in mind we looked at that lift up section in the cockpit under that chaise long seat, gives us this double berth. There's that window we looked at. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a very, very large double berth that swings all the way back there. And that gives you that bit of extra headroom when you're sitting up in bed. So there you go. Let's go and have a look at the engine bay. Right, so here's the engine bay under here. I'm just going to put the camera down and open the engine hatch and we'll have a look at the engine. So here you go, that is with the engine hatch off. Now for the sake of it, this panel here also lifts out. So if you're doing sort of serious maintenance and you want to get yourself in there, you can get a bit more engine bay access. So this, as you can quite clearly see, is a Mercruiser V8 5.7 250 horsepower. I quite like these engines. They are very simplistic, surprisingly reliable. The parts are pretty good prices as well, and they are very, very simple to work on. And you don't really need to find a specialist engineer. Anyone in the marine or even the car world can pretty much work on one of these engines. So let's have a look and see what we've got down here. So over this side over here you can see the twin batteries. Now I suspect one is, you can see that says leisure, and the other one is probably the engine start battery. Down here we have the holding tank. I don't know what you can see it, but right down the bottom there is the fuel tank. Over there, fire extinguisher obviously. And then over this side we have got the fuel filter, and then just a bit of spare storage space over there. Hydraulic ram for the leg and the trim tabs, I would imagine. And yeah, there you go. So that is the engine bay. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Do please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time round. Thanks for watching.